You might be a lot more like Peter in the Bible than you think. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to part 3 of us reading in Matthew 26 at the very late, technically early hour of 4:40 a.m. after I was out with the Lord, the Creator and creation on a foggy winter's night in the United Kingdoms, and I am now spontaneously recording this series after a whole bunch of revelations. Check out the videos before for more context. We were just talking about Judas, and now we're going to talk about Peter. And these are cautionary tales. So I do plan to link this all in the description box, so please do check it out. In this part, guys, what we're going to be talking about is what went down with Peter, because essentially, I do think we overestimate ourselves as humans. And I've said to you guys before, I often think that one of the reasons I think love doesn't live here in the world for real is because of these exact things we're talking about. Everybody thinks they would do something in a situation, but we'll never really know until the situation presents itself. So let's get into that. So in Matthew 26 we'll start from 29. I tell you, I will not drink from this fruit of the vine from now on until the day when I drink it with you in my Father's kingdom. So I talked about this briefly, quite a bit in the last 2 videos, where I was explaining how, Jesus is saying to them at the Passover, which I explained all about that in the previous videos, that listen, there's things to be done, things to do, and he's kind of ending off to be like, look, I can't do this anymore. I got stuff to do. I ain't got time to be sitting here having dinner, winner chicken dinner, because the winner needs to win, and by that he's gonna need to die, and then has a lot of other things to do on our account. And now we're gonna see what Peter did. So we already did Judas, so go and check that part out. He says, then he told them, where am I? When they had sung a hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives. Then Jesus told them, this very night you will all fall away on account of me, for it is written, I will strike the herd, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. Now, I find that fascinating because he's obviously the shepherd and they're obviously the flock. And again, this sounds crazy. It's like, what do you mean? We've been together. We know you told us all the instructions. Look at the state of the world today, guys. Is enough. Let's not forget. But after I've risen, I'll go ahead of you into Galilee. Peter replied, even if I fall away on account of you, I never will. So he's like, there's no way I would do that to you. How could I do that? And this is what I'm saying about why I say love don't live here. There's a lot of us who think we would do a lot of things and you don't know what you'd actually do until you're in the moment. This is why I love watching game shows, because game shows bring out the reality game shows. They bring out people's real nature, right? Because people think, oh, I'm still going to be this goody. But when it's like you screwing somebody over versus 500,000 for you and your family in this world we're all enslaved to money. Do you see how everybody's been behaving during the pandemic? Being selfish, arguing people and getting to fisticuffs over flipping toilet paper. People buying all these things, at the moment. Or were recently in the United States due to the fact of what's going down in the weather. And I can't remember which state it was in. Anyway, Jesus says, truly I tell you, Jesus answered, this very night, before the cock crows, you will disown me 3 times. I used to have a neighbor who had a cock that would crow in the morning, and I miss it. It was actually so nice. I'm sure some people probably hated it, but I loved it because it felt so natural, in the same way that starting the day with the sunrise and seeing where the sun is in midday when it's midday and watching the sunset is just nice, and just watching how God created everything. And funnily enough, the other day I saw a video that some people had chickens that they had, and one of the ways that they wake up like I think their children is they literally send in one of these things to crow. And it was so funny because it walked onto the bed and knew exactly its job, and it kept going until the person got up. And I just thought it was so funny. Animals, God really built us to work with the animals and for us to all live in harmony. Then this is verse 35. But Peter declared, even if I have to die with you, I will never disown you. And all the other disciples said the same. Here's the thing about it. The thing about it is you don't know until you're in the moment. And that should terrify you. It's the same way that people are like, oh, I'll never take the mark of the beast. I'll never take the mark of the beast. How do you know? Especially when you're living in a world where you're so dependent. You're dependent on the world. You're dependent on the world and its systems. So if the world says, oh, all these things that you depend on, your job, you're this, you're that, right? You need to take the mark. You want to believe? Are you sure? Are you really sure you're not going to take it? And especially, how do you expect not to if you haven't even fostered the relationship with God where you're dependent on Him? Didn't think about that part, did we? No, we didn't. So I don't think Peter was meant wrongly. I'm just trying. This is why I truly believe the Bible tells us so much about ourselves. It's like a mirror. It's a reflection. Like, this is who we are. This isn't who they are. I don't get to sit on my high horse and look down at Judas would look down at Peter, because I am Judas, I am Peter, I am Adam, I am Eve. You know what I mean? We all are. So we should be looking at these things as cautionary tales. That's why the Bible says, work out your salvation with fear and trembling. In Hosea 4:6, it says, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. Hello. Then Jesus went with his disciples to a place called Gethsemane, and he said to them, sit here while I go over there and pray. He took Peter and the two sons of Zebedee along with him, and he began to be sorrowful and troubled. So I love this part because it just shows how human Jesus really is. Is like, just because, and this is the thing, guys, I want to just say this because I've been telling you guys on here like my woes, and I probably mentioned about a billion times in my videos at the moment how much I don't want to be alive at the minute, right? But I'm not trying to kill myself. You guys know that I have to say that because that's human. It's not easy on this path. It's not easy. Just because we're going to do something, just because we believe something, just because we're going to be obedient, just because we win, just because we know we're going to win, that doesn't necessarily make the process any easier. It just means that we have a reason to keep fighting. We have a reason to keep going. And we don't need to pretend that it's all sunshine and rainbows 24/7, because it isn't. We see that here with Jesus. Then he said to them, this is verse 38, my soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me. So now he really needs his friends. He needs his peeps there. His heart is troubled. He's sorrowful. You know what I mean? To the point of death, he's saying here, that's insane. Can you imagine? That's what I'm saying. It's only the people who are either living in a fake facade, don't understand what Jesus really did, who have all this problem talking about death. Jesus said that it was better for Judas they'd never been born. Job said that he mourns the day that he was born. And Jesus is now overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Yeah, winning's not for the weak, everyone. Lesson of the day. 39. Going a little farther, he fell on his face to the ground and prayed, my Father, if possible, may this cup be taken from me, yet not as I will, but as you will. Wow. That's so true. And that is a scripture for us all. Best believe I be saying this to the Lord. I'm like, God, I can just go and live somewhere where nobody knows my name, my face, my nothing. I don't have to do all of this, but it has to be done. And that's what it means to have a real true leader. When I read these things about Jesus, it really shows me like this is a leader I can get behind, because they lead by actions, not by just having some title. We're not going to get into that all over again. I talked about that in the previous video. But he leads by his actions, right? And he's showing us like, hey, it's okay. It's not going to be easy, but you got to do it, because that's what winners do. If life's a game, let's play to win. Then he returned to his disciples and found them sleeping. Couldn't you men keep watch with me for 1 hour? Once again, another disappointment. Like, ugh. This is what I'm saying. Love don't live here. We're horrific at love as humans. In his final hour, when you were all like, oh, we would never, and you were all asleep. And again, I'm not blaming them, because we're all the same. I'm the same. I know there's more I should be doing and I could be doing. What I'm saying is, let's let these things be a cautionary tale to us about who we are and who God is. He asked Peter, watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Tell me about it. Tell me. So he's like, you need to pray, right? This is similar to like when God says to Cain and Abel, to Cain, like, listen, sin is knocking at your door. If you don't overcome it, like, God is always warning us. This is why I think God is 100% fair. There's not a chance where God doesn't warn people. He warns Pharaoh. He warns us. He gives us heads up. He gave us the Bible. We have the whole scriptures to ourselves. He's like, why are you coming to me with your like, as if I've set things up against you, when I've tried to do every single thing I could do for your success, for you to win. It is you who is the disappointing one here. He loves us all the same, and I'm not saying that for you to go and hate yourself. It's not about that. It's just it's to show how much he loves us and why we need to trust him and be grateful. Why we need to really look at Jesus from a humble place and say, thank God he died. This is why when people are like, I don't know, I'm like, listen, Jesus did everything for us. Ain't nobody got time to be questioning what. Listen, there's no room for us to have pride. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's not a single room for us to have any pride as humans. He went away a second time and prayed, my Father, if it's not possible for this cup to be taken away unless I drink it, may your will be done. So he's still asking. When he came back, he again found them sleeping because their eyes were heavy. So they were tired. They couldn't handle the heat, and that's okay. That's why Jesus is there, because he's the one who can handle the heat. That's why God is with us, because he can handle it. We can't. That's why it even says when, Christ's power is made perfect in our weakness. The weaker we are, the stronger he's able to be, because now there's just a greater capacity. When we feel so strong and high and mighty, when we feel on our high horse, what's God going to do? Just like us today. Is it a surprise to us that we struggle to make time for God? Because we've already got our time occupied. We've already got things we're doing. We don't have time for him. He's not a priority. But if we were like the Israelites in the wilderness, needing miracles to literally for our survival, it wouldn't be so hard, because we'd be in a weakened state. Now we're all comfortable. Look, I'm here in a house. It's foggy and freezing outside. There's central heating, all this stuff. I don't got to worry about anything. There's food in the fridge, food in the freezer, food in the cupboards, food in the stores. I've got a job. Are you guys understanding? When he came back, he found them sleeping because their eyes were heavy. So he left them and went once more and prayed the third time, saying the same thing. So he just accepted it. I think he could have done with a bit of help. But this is the part, guys, where this is what I'm saying. Only one person can be first place. That's why he's our firstborn, the first heir, right? Only one person can be first place. Only one person is going to be number one, crossing the finish line. And when we receive Christ, we get to be as though we were one with that. And that's just so beautiful. But this is what I'm saying. Winning isn't for the weak, you guys. This is why luck and all this stuff is all a load of, what was that word I'm trying to think of? I wish I could. Hogwash. Because it's as if to say that the person doing it didn't push themselves further than you were willing to push yourself. That's a losing mentality. I'm not making stuff up that I say on my channel, you guys. It's a lived experience. And also, look, it's even here. Then he returned to the disciples. He said, are you still sleeping and resting? Look, the hour has come and the Son of Man is delivered into the sinners. Rise, let us go. Here comes my betrayer. So he's like, it's now. I do think there's a part of them, and that's a part of us as humans, when we don't really want to have to address something, we kind of try to ignore it. And that's one of the things I fear about us as humans the most. Like, I think a part of them didn't really want to believe what he was saying was true and didn't really want to believe it was going to be as big of a deal. But that's actually a big problem. Because when we do these things as humans, the results are catastrophic. The results end in death and destruction, because that's what's about to happen right now. While he was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12, arrived. With him, a large crowd armed with swords and clubs, sent from the chief priests and elders of the people. Chief priests and elders. Can we hear that? Chief priests and elders. The religious leaders. Now the betrayer had arranged a signal with them. The one I kiss is the man, arrest him. Going at once to Jesus, Judas said, "Greetings, Rabbi," and kissed him. And again, it's funny because it's like, people, this is what we be doing. We be thinking we're playing God and we're playing games with him. And he's like, it's like with kids. You know, like if a kid, right, like makes a mess or something, they spill something, and because obviously they don't have the capacity to clean it up, they try to like put a random item on top of it that's not supposed to be there, and they think they're going to get away with it. That's what this is giving. And then obviously, as soon as an adult comes and sees it, they're going to be, where is there a random, I don't know, why is there a random box in the middle of the room? Oh, there's nothing there. Like, what did he think? Did he think Jesus didn't know what was happening? This is what I'm saying. When he was calling him rabbi and thinking he's just a teacher, just another man like himself, he was misled. Jesus replied, "Do what you came for, friend." He's still calling him friend. Wow. Look at God. So different to us today. Because imagine how we would all react if we knew somebody was going to betray us. We wouldn't be calling them friend. We wouldn't have continued the supper. We wouldn't have done any of this. We wouldn't. Love don't live here. Then the men stepped forward, seized Jesus, and arrested him. With that, one of Jesus' companions reached his sword, drew it out, and struck the servant of the high priest, cutting off his ear. Which, of course, again, I was thinking, how dare you take Jesus? But again, not realizing that this is what is written. This is what has to happen. What we think we're going to do to add to the situation isn't going to be very valuable. We just have to play our part. Well, it is going to be valuable, obviously, but what I mean is, in comparison, I'm going to use children as an example again. It's like if you're cooking with a kid, right? And let's say you're making an entire, I don't know, lasagna, for example, random choice, I don't know. And you tell the kid, right? Okay, can you mix the ricotta mix for me? Right? And then they spend the entirety of like 30 minutes trying to mix a couple of ingredients together. Meanwhile, you've done everything else. You bought the items. You were making all the other bits to go with it. You're going to still have to do something extra to what they've done. You're going to cook it. You're the one who's going to put it in, and you're the one who's going to take it. You're doing everything, right? That's like us and God. That's why I'm like, we literally have like so little that he's even asking of us, and we still don't even do that. Just like we just saw. Literally, like children. This is why they were the children of God. This is exactly why. And he says, "Put your sword back in its place." Jesus said to him, "For all who draw the sword will die by the sword." So he's like, we don't do this in our kingdom. That's worldly. All this, what the heck? "Do you think I cannot call upon my Father, and he will at once put at my disposal more than 12 legions of angels? But how then would the scriptures be fulfilled that say it must happen in this way?" Wow. 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 In that hour, Jesus said to the crowd, "Am I leading a rebellion that you've come out with swords and clubs to capture me?" Oh, there's so much I could say about all of this. What I will say is, look at the way he's like, "Listen, my guy, do you think I'm in a weakened state? Do you think I'm like you folks? I've got the whole host of heaven on my side. I am God. It's nothing for me to have to call. That's just not the point." In the same way to like the Pharisees, the chief priests, all these, he's like, who cares about you guys being ruled by Herod? With the click of my finger, I could just wipe out every single, or him or his father, I don't know. I don't want to be specific. God, anyway. That's the easiest way. That's so funny. Because like you guys know, I believe Jesus is God in the third dimension. But anyway, he's like, you think I don't have the power to just end it all? Did we forget what happened in Egypt when God just took out all the firstborn sons of Pharaoh? Do we not remember this? What are we doing here? And imagine what Jesus must be thinking, because he's like, and you guys are this unprepared, and I'm about to die right now. Oh, lad. He wouldn't say, "Oh, Lord," because I'm saying that because I'm calling out to him, but he wouldn't be calling out to himself. And again, he's bringing up the fulfillment of the scriptures. And I'll read this bit as the final part. In that hour, Jesus said to the crowd, "Am I leading a rebellion that you've come out with swords and clubs to capture me? Every day I sat in the temple courts teaching, and you did not arrest me. But this all has taken place that the writings of the prophets might be fulfilled." Then all the disciples deserted him and fled, just like he said. Just like he said. just like he said. And then then afterwards we have the bit where Peter denies him. What is that? We're going to leave that there regardless, I think. Those who arrested Jesus took him to Caiaphas the high priest, where the teachers of the law and the elders had assembled. But Peter followed him at a distance, right up to the courtyard of the high priest. He entered and sat down with the guards to see the outcome. The chiefs and the whole Sanhedrin were looking for false evidence against Jesus so that they could put him to death, but they did not find any, though many false witnesses came forward. Finally, two came forward and declared, This fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of God and rebuild it in 3 days. I find that quite fascinating as well. I'm not going to get into my thoughts about what he means by I'm going to rebuild the temple in 3 days, because I actually believe he was the temple. He was the temple of the Holy Spirit himself. This is what I'm thinking. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to come back. Goodness me, this is never going to end. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to come back. We're going to come back to this. We're going to have to come back. I can't let it go. I can't let it go because I think Jesus was the temple he was referring to. And I'm going to explain why in the next video. So guys, keep coming. We're just going to have to keep going. I didn't expect to be reading through this whole thing, but I just can't get enough. And when I get in the Bible, I just can't get enough. And something with the Lord, I just love him. He's just the best. And then I have to be here in this hellscape. But I just can't wait. Right now, I'm just spending a moment with you guys doing these videos. And one day, the moments I get to spend of this enjoyment of being with God and with God's people, we will get to do for eternity. That moment won't just have an ending. That moment will be everlasting, and I can't wait for that. Anyways, it's all going to be linked in the description box below. I've got to give you guys my theory on this, okay? Because I feel like, again, there's misunderstandings happening here, and it just dawned on me what he's actually saying. Anywho, if life's a game, let's play to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one.